Hey everybody, welcome back to the Principal Outdoors YouTube channel. Thanks again for watching. Really appreciate it. Having a lot of fun doing this, so it's good to see people watching it. Today we're going to get back into fishing, bass fishing, and the bass fishing basic series that I started, I think last week or something. We're going to go into a little more detail. In the first video, we talked about rods and reels, spinning versus bait casting, how to cast a bait caster and a spinning rod. So I really hope you watch that. Again, these videos are aimed at people that are just getting into bass fishing. With the pandemic, there's been a lot of people getting back into fishing, and I think there's a need out there to just help people get through with some basic knowledge on bass fishing. And it's going to apply to largemouth and smallmouth, and well, we'll see how far it goes. So thanks again for watching. Now we're going to get into lures. And the first video on lures is just going to be a general look at how to approach selecting lures because, I mean, there's so many lures out there. You go into a tackle store and it's crazy. I can only imagine being a beginner and walking into a bass tackle store and trying to pick something out. Again, when you do go to a store, go to your local stores. And the main reason is because those local stores, these are the people I deal with in my job. Those local stores have fishermen in them, and they know how to help you get what you need. So the knowledge there is worth a lot, and so I encourage you to do that. So let's just take a little look at lures and the way I look at lures and a general philosophy on picking lures. Number one, I remember I used to do seminars about 10 years ago, and the first question I would ask is, who has a favorite lure? And, 90% of the crowd would put their hand up because they all had a favorite lure. The important thing is to not have a favorite lure, if that makes any sense. Yeah, you may have caught your biggest bass on this, and, therefore it's your favorite lure. That's great. I understand that 100%. But do not throw this all the time because of that, okay? You need to look at lures as tools. All they are is tools. They're just tools to be used in specific situations. You may have your favorite hammer. You've got 3 hammers and that one's your favorite, but when you need to put a screw in the wall, you're not going to use that hammer. At least I hope you're not going to use that hammer. So it's basically the same approach with lures. Some lures are designed to be fished in heavy weeds. So, they have weed guards on them and stuff like that. So there's no need to use those out in open water. Some lures, they got big treble hooks on them. Well, you can't fish those in weeds, right? So that's what I'm saying. Some lures are made to fish shallow. So you use them in shallow water. Some are made to fish deep. So you can't take a lure that's made to fish deep and fish it in shallow water. Of course, there's the occasional exception. I understand that, but I'm talking general fishing right here, okay? So that's really the main thing. I want you to look at lures as tools to get the job done. The first goal is to find the fish, right? And the second goal is to use the right tools to catch those fish, right? So the way I'm going to break down lures is I'm going to break it down into the water column. So the upper water column, so top water baits and subsurface baits, that'll be the next video. The one after that is going to be mid-depth baits. So that would be like swim baits, swim jigs, deeper crankbaits, stuff like that to fish in mid-depth, even Senkos and stuff. And then the third part is going to be fishing the bottom. So bottom baits, Ned rigs, drop shots, and, basic Texas rigs and stuff. So I'm going to try to get these videos off in a little bit of a rapid succession so you can start absorbing the material and stuff. But that's how I'm going to break it down. So surface, subsurface, that's number 1. 2 is mid-depth. 3 is the bottom. So that's what we're going to look at next. The other thing is some lures are made to find fish. So fast-moving lures, there are fast-moving lures and there are slow-moving lures. And there's some that fit in between. But basically, like a fast-moving lure is like a topwater, okay? This is, you can fish it slow, but really this is to cover water and in most times cover water and try to locate the fish. So that's an El Chapo right there. And but that's a topwater, right? So topwaters, as an example, are made to cover water. Jerk baits are made to fish fast. Swim jigs are made to fish fast. On the other end of the spectrum, once you've fished fast and you found some fish, now you're going to use slower stuff. So slower lures would be something like a Senko, Senko type bait, drop shot, that's made to fish slower. Texas rig worm or any kind of soft plastic Texas rig. That's what you use when you want to fish slower. So think of lures in terms of faster lures and slower lures. Faster to cover water, slower when you found the fish. Now you can fish in those areas, right? The other thing is color. So color is very important, but it's also very confusing because you can take one bait, and I mean, here I'll give you an example. Here's a box of my crankbaits, right? So you can see there's a lot of colors in there, right? Really, there's a lot of colors in my box because I'm experimenting with different colors, right? But really, I want you to look at it this way. For pretty much no matter what lure you're using, you can get away with 3 colors, 2 to 3 colors. And this is how I break it down. You need, if you're trying to imitate a bait fish or something natural, let's look at a bait fish now. So you're using a crankbait, a jerkbait, something that'll imitate a bait fish. You can look at 2 colors. A light color, so basically a chartreuse color like that. So that I would consider a light color. On the other end, I would consider a dark color. So a darker color like that. This could be a perch pattern or a darker minnow pattern like this as well. Those are the 2 main colors. The third color would be something bizarre, what I'll call a bizarre color, like this orange color right here. This is, you don't see too much in the natural world that's a color like this. Fire tiger, that green with the black stripes and yellow and orange, that fire tiger color. There's nothing really in the natural world that's got a fire tiger color like that. But sometimes you need a bizarre color like this to trigger the bites. So pretty much for everything, you can look at 3 colors to get the job done. Same thing when it comes to soft plastics, right? I don't have any soft plastics here, but when we get into it, I will show you. Soft plastics, you can go with a light color, so basic shad color. Then you can go with a dark color, which would be like watermelon color, very, very good color. And then your bizarre color could be like pink. I've seen how many times pink plastic lures, soft plastic lures did really well, Like I know a guy won a big tournament up here in Canada on a pink fluke for smallmouth, I think it was. Well, it was definitely smallmouth, but I think it was a fluke, but it was a pink, or it might have been a pink lizard. I mean, there's no pink lizards out there. This guy won a tournament on it. So that's why I always look at a light color, a light natural color, a dark natural color, and then a bizarro color that really makes no sense. So you can pretty much every lure you can limit down to 3 colors. And as I get into the specifics of lures, I'll talk about colors a bit more and show you some of my favorites. And then the last thing when it comes to looking at lures is that some of them are lucky lures. I firmly believe that some lures are lucky lures, and I'll give you an example. And I've seen this, and I've talked to other anglers where they've said the same thing. So that's an older Lucky Craft crankbait, super shallow crankbait, pretty big crankbait. And this is, I caught my first 6-pound largemouth on this crankbait. I used to go down to Alabama every spring, March, April, and fish an area down there, and caught some big largemouth there. And this is the first 6-pounder I caught was on this crankbait. And as you can see by the markings on it, I caught a lot of fish after that on it, right? And I've bought, obviously when I did that, I bought a few more of these after, and they were never as good as this original one. So what I'm saying is sometimes you might come across a crankbait that there's something about it. It could be a jerkbait. And there's something about the way, I don't know what it is. There's a little bit more glue inside the body. The wall's maybe a bit thicker. The rattle in there is a bit bigger. But you may come across one that's a special one that works better than the exact replica of it, the exact same one. So when you do come across something like that, hold on to it. And this one I've actually retired. I should use it again, but I'm scared to lose it. So I've retired it and it sits on my shelf. But yeah, there are such thing as lucky specific lures that there's something in them that makes them different. So that pretty much wraps it up for the philosophy of lures and how to look at lures. So just to recap, we're going to break it down to top of the water column, mid water column, and bottom fish, bottom of the water column, bottom lures. Colors, you need 2 or 3 colors for whatever you're buying. Think of lures as fast moving lures and slow moving lures, and just make sure you don't have any favorites. Just look at all the lures as tools, and you'll do great doing that. And I'll help you just find out which tools are best for which job. Thanks for watching. Part one, surface, subsurface, is coming up shortly. Thanks again.